Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Waiters Academy. Today we are going to discuss point by point the best food and beverage service practices as written by LQA, or the leading quality assurance. This is the highest standard of service in our industry. So let's get started. What's up, guys? I hope everybody's doing great these days. I'm getting so many messages about people getting their first job, people getting promotions, people getting a supervisor's job, and I cannot be more happier than that. I also want to thank all the new partners of the Waiters Network project. Thank you guys for the trust and for the support. We're still looking for a couple more people from United States, India, the Scandinavian republics, and some of the faraway corners of the world to join. So if you are willing to join, please let me know. Write me a message, write me an email, use the website of the waitersacademy.com, and I will get back to you. Now let's get back with the LQA. LQA, guys, was created to standardize the service procedures in the fine luxury hotels and restaurants in the world. They created those standards so the guests, when they come in the restaurant, in a luxury 5-star hotel or a fine dining restaurant, the guests will know exactly what to expect, and the waiters will know exactly what is expected from them. So we are going to go step by step, and we are going to start with this scale that the LQA agents, when they come to the restaurant, will look for and assess your performance. So you will be assessed not only by the proper procedures that you're providing, the proper service procedures to the guest. You will be assessed by your emotional involvement in the contact with your guest. So listen what the scale is. Restaurant primary emotions: completely engaged, exceptional emotional experience. The guests feel pampered, special, indulged. They give you 5 points. All right? They give you 4 points if you are positively engaged, positive emotional experience. The guests feel delighted, appreciated, individual service. They give you 3 points when you are engaged, minimal emotional experience. The guests feel respected, understood, owned, and content. So you see how this differs. Let's go with the number 3. They give you 3 points when you are engaged, minimal emotional experience, respected, understood, and content. That means that the agent sees that you are doing your job properly, you respect them, you give them the proper service, you follow the steps of service and the procedures, but you are not emotionally involved. What that means? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the menus. My name is Ned. I will be taking care of you today. Please take a look. I'll be right back to take your order. Okay, you went, you present the menus, you present yourself, welcome them in a normal, positive, respectful tone, gave them the menu, and you walk away. Just give them a couple of minutes to take their chance to read the menu and make their choice. All right, so this is like engage minimal emotional experience, and the guest feels that they're respected and they're content. Okay, now let's see what they give you 4 points for. Positively engaged, positive emotional experience, delighted, appreciated, individual. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ned. Welcome to the Grand Victoria. This is your menus. I'll be happy to help you with any questions you have about the items on the menu, and let me know if you want to have some drinks, if you want to have some aperitifs. I will be happy to bring that for you right away. And that's it. A little bit more enthusiasm, a little bit more friendliness, a little bit more personal relationship contact with the guest. So they see that you are positively attached to the task that you are doing. They see that you are smiling. They see that you are trying to do a good job and make them feel comfortable and welcome. And that's what they give you 4 points. Now, what they give you 5 points for? Completely blowing them away. Friendly, smiling, engaged emotionally, really personal. So, what we do? We go to the table. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Grand Victoria. I hope everybody's doing great today. My name is Ned. I will be taking care of you. So please make sure that if you have any questions, any requests, let me know. I'll be happy to answer or take care of your request. We have some amazing specials today. The chefs have prepared pastas, chefs have prepared risotto. So I would love to explain that for you. And please, what can I get you to drink? We have some Prosecco, we have some aperitifs, like special cocktails of the day. We have normal Aperol Spritz, for example. This is very good. Okay, so they see that you are really enjoying the contact. They see that you are really happy to see those guests, like they're being every day there, they're special, they're VIPs or something like that. And they just feel the emotion that you are really involved and you're trying your best to make them not just feel comfortable, but feel happy to be there. All right. So this is the difference, guys. And those people are really assessing you by your emotional involvement in the contact with them. Now, there are two more scales. The guest gives you 2 points where they dissatisfied with emotional engagement, disinterested, they feel disconnected, or disappointed. And they give you just 1 point when you're extremely dissatisfied with the emotional experience, completely ignore, they feel stressed and they feel frustrated. Should I explain or just play those two? I don't think so. You know exactly what that means. Hello, here's the menu. Take your time. I will be right back to take your order. I'm busy without a table. And just walk away. And believe it or not, there are people that do this kind of service when they're tired, when they're pissed off, when they're overwhelmed with the job and everything like that. And that's why LQA helps not only the guests or the companies, they help us because they keep the companies responsible to provide enough people, enough staff in the job, in the restaurant. So the guys, we don't get overwhelmed, overstressed, tired, working 15 hours a day, and we can be able to provide this high quality service. They keep the hotels responsible and they really push them to make sure those people hire enough staff and they train their staff properly. Let's go point by point and step by step with the service standards. The first thing when the guests enter the restaurant, they're asking the agent, were you greeted or paid attention within 30 seconds of entering the restaurant? What that means? Now, the hostess or the host or the manager, the supervisor cannot stay all the time on the door because when the guests come, he has to take them to the table and seat them. And by that time, for example, a new guest is coming. They enter the restaurant, the hostess is not there or the manager is not there. They give you 30 seconds to greet the guest. That means that if the supervisor or the hostess is all the way to the back of the restaurant, they don't see the new guests are sitting over there, and you're the waitress or your waiter or the busboy or whoever you are, and you are passing by, you just stop, greet the guest, tell them good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is. Welcome to Grand Victoria, whatever the restaurant name is. Just give us 1 second. Our manager will be with you in a moment, or our hostess will be with you in a moment. And you then go and tell them, hey, we have new guests on the table, on the front door. So they know that they have to take care of them. The next question the agent have to respond is, if the guest had to wait more to be seated, did the clerk recognize this and apologize to the guest for the waiting? That means For example, if you're the host or you're the supervisor or you're the head waiter, and you're the one that has to seat the guests because the supervisor is busy with some complaints or anything, you've seen that those guests been there for more than 30 seconds, more than 1 minute. You go over there and the first thing is apologize. Excuse me, please, for the wait. We had some problems. We had to take care of that. Welcome to the restaurant. Let me have your name. You take a reservation. Do they have reservation? If they don't have reservation, you take care of that. If you have tables, you seat the guests, and that's it. But make sure that you apologize for that. The guests are being waiting on the front door a little bit too long, more than 30 seconds. The next question. Did the receptionist place the guests at fully set table within a minute of their arrival? That means that not only you have to greet the guests within 30 seconds, but you have to seat them within 1 minute, especially if they have a reservation made. We should take the coats and seat the guests within 1 minute on perfectly set up table. That is really important thing, that when the guests leave the restaurant, we clear the table and set it up immediately for the next guest, so we don't waste this 1 minute and we don't sit the guests on a table that's just partially set up, and we have to just keep setting up while they're sitting there, which is very unpleasant. Now, next question. Did the employee offer help with the sitting down? That means you pull a chair for the ladies at least. Remove excess place settings and presented the menu. For example, you're sitting 3 guests on table of 4, they don't have reservations, so you prepare the table for 4 because it's table of 4. But there are 3, you put them down, you pull the chairs for the ladies, help the ladies to sit down, and then you take the extra setting, because we don't leave the extra settings on the table. When you have 3 and the table is set for 4, we have to remove the 4th setting. Did you present the menu and the wine list? So I get so many questions about when do we present this, when we remove this, when we do this and this and this. This is what it takes. This is the standards you have to follow. You don't have to ask me. You just go to the website and you read the LQA point by point, and you're gonna know exactly when you present the menu, when you present the wine, when you present the specials, when you remove the butter plates or the butter knife and the broth plates, and all those kind of things. You know, you have all your answers by the LQA standards. So when you bring the guests to the table, you have to go there, introduce yourself, welcome them, present the menus, and present the wine list at the same time. Did the employee name any specials of the day if available, or the non-existing dishes? So what is important for them is when you bring the menus, bring the wine list, the waiter has to explain the specials of the day at right this time, because if you go and explain the specials of the day after they've been looking at the menu and making the choices, it's pretty stupid, because already they made a choice and now you make them think twice and takes more time and things like that and get confused. You bring the menu, you bring the wine list, and you tell them the specials of the day. And more important, you tell them that items that are sold out. If you have salad caprese on the menu, but it's been very busy and the kitchen has sold all the buffalo mozzarella they have and they don't have more caprese, they have to tell the staff, and the staff has to tell the guests, excuse me, I apologize, but today was very busy and we are sold out. We don't have no more mozzarella, buffalo mozzarella. We cannot prepare any more caprese. So caprese is on the menu, but it's not available at this moment. That's it. So the guests don't make the choice. You go 5 minutes later to take the order and they tell you, I want caprese, and oh, I'm sorry, we don't have caprese. And now they have to start thinking again what they're gonna get. You're wasting their time, you're wasting your time. So make sure that you tell them the specials and you tell them the missing items. And then we go to the service procedures. The agents will be assessing you Was an aperitif offered within 2 minutes of taking a seat? That means that you have 2 minutes after they are seated to bring the menu, to bring the wine list, to tell them the specials, and to offer them aperitifs. That's 2 minutes. Make sure, did the service employee propose a mineral water? Aperitifs is one thing, and the water is a completely separate point in their assessment. So you go there, you offer them aperitifs, make sure that you name at least 3, 4, 5 different aperitifs. It's not just say, hey, guys, can I get you some aperitifs to start with? No, you go over there, you ask them, hey, would you like to have something to drink? We have amazing Prosecco, special Superiore. We have Franciacorta, which is the alternative of the French champagne in Italy. We also have some cocktails of the day, specials of the day. I can prepare you just simple Aperol, Spritz, and so on, so on, so on, so. So you name 4 or 5. You don't say just aperitifs, because the guest, in their mind, they have some preferences. But when you name them, that makes them 3 times more willing to take this and get this. And for example, I'm selling Prosecco like crazy, because every time I go to the table, I tell them, hey guys, we have amazing Prosecco. If you want to try, if you like Prosecco, if you like sparkling wine, try our Prosecco. It's beautiful. It's 5 or 6 ladies are just going for the Prosecco right away. Some gentlemen too. So you name the aperitifs, and the next thing is you offer them water. A bottle of water, sparkling, non-sparkling, period. Waters, for example, in my restaurant, a bottle of water is $12. That's a big chunk of income for the restaurant, and of course for your sales, and therefore your tip. Next point. Has the order for food and beverage been taken up within 10 minutes of taking up space? So the guests are seated. You have 2 minutes to present the menus, the wine list, and take the drink order. Then you give them time to make their choice, and within 8 more minutes you have to be there to take the order for the food. As a whole, after the guests are sitting, within 10 minutes the food order should be taken and sent to the kitchen. Of course, in some places we do this much faster, and if the guests, when you go there and to take the order, they are not ready, that means it's not your responsible, you're not fault, it's not your fault. You've been there, you ask them, you're ready to take the order. If they are not ready, they need some more time, of course you can go over the 10 minutes. Was the service employee able to answer questions about the menu and its components? So definitely the LQA agents will ask you questions about the menu, questions about the specials of the day. That's why it's so important that you are really knowledgeable about what you have on the menu and what you suggest as a special of the day. You know what's the ingredients, you know how that being cooked. It's not just because of the guest preferences, but also because of the allergies. A lot of guests have allergies of this and this and this and this, and if your special of the day has garlic but the guest is allergic to garlic and you don't explain that, you don't know that, it's a problem. So knowledge about the food is very important. It's a point in your assessment. Did the employee accommodate any reasonable off-menu request? You will be asked, for example, if the guest can switch the broccoli for Romanesco, or just normal green salad, or just a small side dish of pasta. And this is a reasonable. If he says, oh, I don't eat pork, I don't eat beef, I don't eat chicken, I want to eat deer, whatever. Well, sorry, sir, we don't have deer. That's an unreasonable request. If you cannot fulfill that, that's fine. But if they ask you, for example, to switch the sauce of this salad instead of Italian with French dressing, yes, that's a reasonable request. You say yes, of course, with pleasure, and move on. but you'll be asked about that. If you don't know, if they ask you something that it's very specific and you don't know, you just apologize. You tell them, I have to ask the chef. Take a minute, go to the kitchen, ask the chef, come back immediately and tell the guests if that's possible or not possible. Did the employee obtain a full and complete order with the cooking instructions and accompaniment? So that means that you really have to be able to take an order. I have a lot of videos about taking the food order, and I explain everything step by step how we do that, and make sure that you are really doing a great job, because this is the most mistakes the waiter makes. When they take the order, they do not clear everything perfectly with the guest. You go to the computer, you punch in what you think that is correct, and then the food comes and it's not correct, and then we are in the shit. Did the waiter automatically suggest a starter and side orders for each guest? They want to see that you are selling. So if, for example, somebody order a steak without appetizer, we have to ask him, would you like to have some small salads before the steak, or would you like to have some appetizers, because the steak is taking, for example, 20-25 minutes if it's a well done, to be prepared, and this is not just to sell something more, but also accommodate the guests, because otherwise, imagine if you order a well done tomahawk steak, it's going to take 45 minutes to make it. If you don't have no appetizers and the waiter doesn't suggest that you get some appetizers, you'll be sitting on this table 45 minutes waiting for something to eat, and it's not coming. It's not going to be pleasant for nobody. So we have to suggest for people some appetizers, if we have specials of the day appetizers. If not, just appetizer soups for the guests, so they don't wait for the main course too long. Were bread rolls served, if applicable, to the type of cuisine? So when you take the order, then you bring the bread on the table. I have thousands of questions on the channel. When do we bring the bread? You bring the bread on the table after you have taken the order. LQA says that that's what we do. Of course, if your manager or your owner of the restaurant think differently, it's up to him. But when you are told to follow the service standards, this is what the LQA says. We bring the bread and butter or olive oil or whatever it's the cuisine in your restaurant on the table after the order is taken. Did the employee or the sommelier have a good product knowledge regarding to the wines, beverages, and did he recommend a suitable wine to accompany the meal? So now, guys, if you're a head waiter, if you're chef de rang, and you are the one that's responsible to sell wine and to open wines and why do wine service and stuff like that, you really have to know your wine list. They want you to know what you have on the wine list, how this wine pass with the food, and you be able to recommend the proper wine for your guest. So make sure that you know your wine list very well. This brings pleasure to your guests when you have the perfect wine accompanying the food they order. This brings money to your company because wine is expensive mostly, and makes money for you because when you put to a table of two that eating, for example, a $50-$60 dishes, that's $120, for example, and you sell them a bottle of wine that's $120, that's just double your check and most probably double your tip. So wine is important. Next question. Was the correct drinks order served within 5 minutes of the order? So when I do the step of service video and the training on the website, on the online course, I tell you about the steps and how we act. If you take the order and you send it to the bar and you see that the bar is getting a little bit too long, you check with the bar, you advise the guest that we have a little bit problem on the bar, they're taking a little bit longer, but the guests don't have to wait unaware what's going on. Did this guy took the drinks? Does anybody makes our drinks? That makes them more anxious, that makes them more nervous, breaks their mood, and then generally they have a bad experience. So you have 5 minutes to serve the drinks after you have taken the drink order, and that's taking a little bit longer. Make sure you advise your guests and make sure you talk to the bartender, that make sure that everything is fine and they know that they have to make the drinks. It just have too many drink orders and takes a little bit longer. Were drinks served and cleared using a tray? All right, you have to be able to carry a tray. That's very simple. There is no going around that thing. Was the starter served within 15 minutes of order? So you have taken the order within 10 minutes after the guests are seated on your table. Then you have sent the order to the kitchen, and the kitchen have 15 minutes to prepare the appetizers and bring it to the table. If the guests don't have appetizers, you have 25 minutes to serve the main course. Was the main course served within 20 minutes of starter order or 30 minutes if not started was ordered? All right, so it's not 25. The LQA say 20, 30 minutes. It depends on the main course, of course. If they order some special steaks that are really big steaks with like a 1 kilo and they want it temperature medium well done, it's going to take more than 30 minutes. But the thing is that you have 20 minutes to serve the main course after you have cleared the appetizer, or you have 30 minutes to serve the main course if you don't have appetizers for this table. Were all plated items served with a little disruption to the guest as possible. So we have to make our service as less disruptive to the guests as possible. They don't want you to push the guests around and break the conversations and stuff like that. They want you to really accommodate the guests, let them talk, let them enjoy themselves. You serve the food quietly, as quiet as possible, as less disruptive as possible, and just wish them a good appetite and just walk away. Came what was ordered, and was it complete? So of course, if you are making mistake with the order and the order comes and it's not what the guest order, then you are in the shit. Make sure that you order the right thing, and make sure when you serve it, you control what the kitchen did, because sometimes you order everything properly, but the kitchen makes mistakes too, and then we have problems. So when you serve the food, it's always good when you do it yourself and you control the dish and you know that everything is done properly. Well, all appropriate condiments, sauces offered, and were they served in the appropriate containers. For example, if you serve burrata to the guest and you don't bring aceto and olive oil, you have not done your job, because you cannot eat burrata without vinegar and olive oil. So that's what they are asking. If you bring some sauce, if your main course come with a sauce on the side, was the sauce there and was in the proper container, so you not just bringing the sauce in a plate or something, you bring in the sauce so the guest can really easily pour the sauce on the dish and enjoy really a nice pleasant dinner. Did the waiter automatically offer an additional bottle of wine upon completion of the first one? This is not just about the wine, this is also about the beers, about anything, the water. When you serve something in a bottle to the table or a glass and they are finished, you have to remove the empty bottle or empty glass. But before you're removing this, you always ask your guest, would you like to have another one? Simple as that. You've done your job. How was the cocktail? Would you like to have another one? How was the wine? Did you like it? Would you like to have another bottle? That's it. LQA is assessing you about this. Were dishes cleared within 3 minutes of guests finish their meal? So when the guests are done, and that's the guest, all the guests are done, you clear the plates within 3 minutes. You don't leave it 10 minutes, 15 minutes because you're busy, you don't have time and things like that. That's terrible. We clear the plates, and we have 3 minutes to do that. Did the waiter remove side plate, side knife, butter, and crumbs and crumb the table? So, when you're taking the plates away, you have to remove all the silverware that belongs to this dish, and if it's the main course, you remove the butter knives, you remove the bread plates, and you crumb the table. They want you to clean the table before you go there, take the dessert order, or bring dessert to the table. So make sure that the table is actually clean and organized during the service all the time. Next point, did the waiter automatically offer desserts either verbally or by presenting the menu? Every single table should be offered dessert after they're finished with the main course. You find your style, how to do this. Usually what I do is I always tell them, hey guys, make sure that you try some of our desserts. We have some amazing tiramisu here. We have some the best in the world, for example, Kaiserschmarrn and things like that. You find one signature dish that your patisserie makes really amazing. You talk about it with passion and you explain to the guests that they should have it. And if they say, no, you know what, we are so full and things like that, tell them, hey, don't worry about it. Next time you just come just for the sets because you have to try it, you know. And that's the second month conviction. Sometimes on the second time you tell them, hey, don't worry about it. You don't have to order it today. You can order it tomorrow. But come tomorrow just for the set if you want and coffee because this is something very special. A lot of people change their mind. Okay, it's so special. Let's have it. You know, we share this between ourselves. So offer the set. Was the dessert served within 10 minutes of ordering? So you have 10 minutes to serve the dessert. That's a pretty cool. That's a long time. They should be prepared to do that. And unless you're having some special desserts that takes more time, like a chocolate souffle. You know, sometimes chocolate souffle takes 15 minutes, and you tell your guests that this dessert it takes 15 minutes. Do not skip this part, guys, because if somebody orders chocolate souffle and he expects to get this in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but the chocolate souffle takes, if it's a real chocolate souffle, 15 minutes to cook it, you have to tell the guests that they know. A lot of people, they after they finish with their main course, they don't have so much time and they don't like to stay more in the restaurant. They're thinking about going to the bar, having a cocktail, going to a party and things like that. And waiting 15 minutes for dessert sometimes is a little bit too much. So you advise your guests that this dessert will take 15 minutes and so they know and they're prepared and they don't get mad at the end of the evening. Did the employee offer coffee? Did they serve the coffee within 5 minutes? Where milk was presented and offered with the coffee and the tea? Did the service employee offer digestives? You know, it's not just dessert and coffee. We also offer digestives. For example, in our restaurant, we offer grappa. It's perfect digestives. Not many people drink grappa. A lot of ladies don't drink this kind of straight and hard alcohol. So we go for a limoncello for them. So there is always some digestives that the people would like to. You order for it, you offer them. If they take it, it's okay. If they don't take it, of course, you just say it's okay, no worries, next time. Did an employee at the table inquire whether the service will be satisfactory? Okay, so they want to know that the waiters, the head waiter, or the supervisor or the manager stop by this table and ask if everything was fine, if the service was good, if the food was tasty. We have to do this, you know, because that's what shows that we care about our guest, and that's what makes the guests actually feel welcome and they come back because they feel really appreciated being there. So we have to ask the guests at the end if that service was fine and everything was tasty. Did the invoice have clear, correctly identified individual items and blah, blah, blah? This is the check. They want to make sure that the checks are really good. Now, guys, there are many more points because the LQA assesses you at 70 points. We right now on the 41, And the next assessment is about wine and beverage service. We're gonna do a second video about that because this video is taking too long. It's been a while now. We will cut it in the middle and we're gonna do a second part.